Hey guys, welcome back to episode 21 of the weekly podcast of Scrubbed In. So a few of you have asked us a few questions on how to kind of scale and grow your hobbies and passion. So we thought, since we're still on that journey ourselves, we can kind of share what we've noticed and some tips and tricks. So the topic of today's discussion, I guess, is probably how do you find your passion or hobby and how do you grow it and get it out there? So any advice before we start, how do you go about finding the hobby?
With this, so I'm gonna actually, it's not my own words. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos on this topic, right? And I think I'll sum it up with something that I've seen is the 3 E's, right? Your element, your environment, and your energy. And then when they're in alignment with something, that's your passion, right? Give you an example. I really get excited and really get happy about social mobility and work within that field, i.e. trying to help someone from a disadvantaged background to sort of reach for the stars and reach for their dreams and achieve it, right? So that's the sort of gives me that energy, that drive, that environment. I love being in that environment of challenge where you've got minimal resources, but you know you can make it from one place to another. And then so that's energy, environment, and then your element. What you're good at. What are you good at, right? It's something that I love. I love speaking things into existence. Right? I love speaking in a positive manner. I love filling someone and filling myself even with belief, with purpose, with drive, so that you attain a goal. I love being goal driven and teaching someone else to be goal driven, right? So when all of those things come into alignment, right, you see that what your hobbies are is actually in alignment with all of that. Scrubbed in, right? We're trying to inspire people into medicine. We're trying to give them an insight into medicine. We're doing all these things. Why? Because it falls in line with the 3 E's for myself. Again, with the wealthy minds, what I want to do is help the youth and young adults out there into higher education, into training, into internships, into all of that, into anything they want to do. Not medicine specifically, but into anything. And I love that. So that's what it is. That's how you identify your purpose.
And that's following on what Amz said, the main thing with hobbies and passions, and it's always, I don't know what my hobby is, I don't know what my passion is. It's do lots of different things and then you will find it. Because if you don't try anything, you will never know if you like it or not. And after doing multiple things, be it graphic design, photography, videography, web design, app development, until you try it or do it, you'll never know. And the one thing is, at least once you do it, you'll be like, oh, do you know what, mate, it's not for me. So go out, try lots of different things. Even if you pique your interest slightly, go out and see what it is. So the first step in kind of growing this and getting out there is find a hobby you really enjoy. And we'll find one. We'll pick graphic designing or something. Let's say you're a designer. So once you've identified what you really enjoy doing, the first thing you want to do is build a brand and build a portfolio. And the quickest way to do this is do a lot of free work. All right. So, and I would recommend this book. It's by Dale Carnegie. It's about how to win friends and influence people. And the key thing in that is, as humans, we're always like, I want this and this from you, I want this and this for you, but you need to flip it. So a good way to get to people is like, this is what I offer. I'm a new designer, or I'm a freelance designer. Let me do this for you, and I think it will help you get more customers. I think it will help you do X, Y, and Z. And don't worry about it. If you don't need to pay for it. What that means, it gives you a fail-safe. So even if it's really crap, because I haven't paid anything for it, there is an expectation, and it means you have lots of material to work on to improve, but it means you're building a portfolio and you're building a brand. So, what are some ways you can reach out to people,
Yeah, so on that platform, so you can use, so the internet makes the world a small place now, right? The world is no longer a big place. So you could send a message to anyone, to any company CEO, any company director, manager, to every single employee through LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. They're all out there. Some people I've heard have literally walked into the office and said, I've got a letter for Mr. John Doe. Can you please hand that to him? And it's a letter talking about their business or their passion, their idea. They want to come and speak to their employees to motivate them or what have you. So it's just about literally physically reaching out. One of the best ways to reach out is actually not to reach out, right? It's just to put your work on display for the world to see, right? The most popular platform right now is Instagram, right? It's a platform for you to showcase. So if you are sticking to the concept of a graphic designer, or it might be a medical teacher. Let's also expand this, because people might say, okay, so that's someone who creates something, but what about someone who loves teaching, right? Well, if you create content and you literally put it out there, if you want to teach. If you want to design things, design it and put it on there. If you love photography, take beautiful photos and put it on there. And when loads of people see that,
it will slowly.
It's your portfolio. It's your work.
And I think, like saying that, even like one of my mates, he makes music beats and stuff like that, and he uploads it on YouTube, and naturally, slowly, people are getting to know him more and more, and it becomes more shareable and more viral. So the key thing with anything is make sure you have a portfolio. The worst thing you can do is lots of work for loads of people and have no record of it, no log of it.
Exactly.
You can be someone that's done probably 10 amazing posters, but unless you kept a log of it, unless you put it for the world to see, no one's going to know you did it. So building a portfolio and building a brand is very important. Like Amz said, you don't need to have a fancy website. You don't need to have, spend loads of money in printing. Get an Instagram page. I know, the guys you're working with, the crepe surgeon, one of the guys from the end, he started off customizing people's shoes, right? Like Air Forces, now he's customizing really expensive high-end shoes, and now he's doing clothes, jackets, bags.
Exactly.
And he doesn't have a website. It's purely on Instagram. And the word of mouth is the best way to increase your following, to get your work out there.
Yeah. And it's based on quality. If what you do is of quality, you will find that people will talk about it, and it spreads like wildfire. And that's the real truth of whatever you do. Just try to put your best into it to make sure it's the best quality. You might be on a learning curve, so sometimes it's not great, but it's part of the learning curve. You start small, and you keep at it, and you keep at it, and you keep at it,
and you keep going.
And that's why you go back to point one, I think you said, where when you find what you love, you have to truly love it, because again, I heard this quote from somewhere else. Any sane person would give up something that gets tiresome and is hard and difficult. If you love it, then you'll do it.
Definitely. And I remember one of my mates, he was saying, Abdul, he was saying, do something that excites you and scares you at the same time. And a lot of the things we're doing, it's like, oh, shall I do it? Shall I not? But at the same time, I'm crazy. Even the podcast. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was, Amz was on holiday in a whole different country, and we're like, bro, this is an amazing idea. But then it's like, bro, we've never did it. We've never recorded ourselves. We've never been in front of a camera. Is it for us or not? Yeah. So that was a good example of hesitancy but excitement at the same time. And I'm really glad we did it. And I think the beauty of having your own hobby and passion which you scale and grow, be it calligraphy, be it whatever, is it's your own. It's like having your own baby, and you nourish it and you look after it, and it's like, it's amazing to see how a small idea can grow into something amazing. And it's a stress release. A few episodes we talked about how to look after mental well-being and having good health. Working on a project or working on a side hustle or a passion or hobby allows you to take you away from your day-to-day job, and it's good.
For me, right, see, I was discussing this, it makes life so much more interesting when you don't just have a job, but you've got your hobby, your passion, which is blown up into a real sort of ongoing project in alignment with your work. When I'm at work, I don't really talk about all the research I've done, the publications, and I talk about my podcast, talk about all these other platforms and things we're building, because that's what I love outside of being a doctor. And
not only that, you develop skills. So if you're working on a hobby and you're starting to get bigger and you need more people, now you're starting to get a team. You're learning leadership skills. You're learning how to meet deadlines, how to communicate differently. The day-to-day communication is very differently when you have a client or a customer, or if you're doing some design work with someone, it's very different. So you pick up lots of skills you may not necessarily develop in work. And I think life should also be about personal development in all facets, not only in terms of career, your hobbies, your passions, relationships, family. And having a hobby or a side hustle or side project and growing it is one of the best and easiest way to do it.
Exactly.
And being mindful, it doesn't mean we're saying everyone go out and, you know, have your own hobby and passion. It can be small. It can just be reading books. As long as you're doing something that helps you develop and grow, read books, become an author, or write book reviews. Literally that. Book reviews, set up an Instagram page, you know, read, you know, if you're someone that reads loads of books and can, you know, read a book a week or something. Loads of people do that, a book a week, a book a day. So it doesn't mean it has to be out there. You have to have physical people you do work for. As long as you're putting beneficial content out there, that's good enough, I would say. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think that's an important point. Not everything is about sort of working or with a financial input. Sometimes it's just to satisfy what we love and just to have that in our lives. So sticking on to the book concept, to learn and to be a part of that. In the episode where we talked about mental health, we talked about the sixth way to boost your mental health was to get involved into acts whereby you're doing something purely for someone else. And what you'll find is that hopefully people can benefit from your passion, from your skill. Maybe reading that book, putting up a review of that helps someone else, and you'll find that you're benefiting others. And all it does is just drives you further forward with whatever you're doing, and you love it more. You just love it more.
So that's good. So that's finding your hobby, starting to grow yourself, becoming a brand, putting your work out there. So now you may notice people start knowing who you are, people are messaging you, people are reaching out to you, and you're still doing work for free. Obviously this is what we found to work. It doesn't mean you can do it like this, you know. Then you can have really fun with it. So the good thing with growing a hobby or passion and turning it into something is it's really good fun. And when I mean good fun is now you can start thinking of giving it a name.
Exactly.
Finding the name of a hobby or a side project or whatever is one of the most hardest things and most fun thing at the same time, right? How did you come up with Wealthy Minds? Even Medigate, like, what are your tips on finding a really good name?
Oh, I don't even know, man.
So how did you come up with Wealthy Minds?
Wealthy Minds, how did that come up with that? The School of Wealthy Minds. What did I do? So one thing first. I love the concept of working on the mindset. Okay, working on sort of mentality, on drive, all of it being internal to you. Okay, so there's that feature of it. And then I thought about I always thought about it and I always procrastinated on this topic is what is true wealth in this world, right? Is it, people always say knowledge is power. Or is it money, and is it the millions of pounds some people have? Is it a degree, or what is it that gives you wealth? And for me, the two things that came together was that the true wealth in this world is all up in here for everyone. It's all up in here. They say some people in sort of developing countries, they're the most freest people that you can find. True. They're the freest and the most happiest people. They go to work only when they need to eat. For example, someone, one of my colleagues recently came back from a trip to somewhere in Africa, and he came back and said this man laughed at him, and he said, "Look at you! You come on holiday, you away from your stresses of your work to come here, and you work the rest of the time. I go to work when I'm hungry, and I come home after I've got my food. That's when I work." And he was so happy and he was thinking, look at this man, he's so free. So then the concept of going back before I completely diverge, mindset and what is true wealth, and I just put them together and I thought this is it. And then I thought, what am I trying to build? An institution. So I thought the School of Wealthy Minds.
So I think that's a good way.
But yeah,
it's find out. Most often the name becomes the one thing or one word name that identifies your hobby. Some practical tips is a lot of this stuff is available online. You can read loads of in books. Is get names that are short, quirky, snappy. Uber, Google. A lot of the best names are made up.
Exactly.
A few syllables. Some people have their own meanings. Sometimes what it is, you get a whiteboard and brainstorm. What am I doing? What am I trying to achieve? Can I do a play on words? But that's fun. That in itself is fun.
because,
You know, even when we're doing Medigate, we're sitting in a room, me, you, and Basir, and we're like, you know, it's a career navigator, Medigate, how do we link it? And you're sitting there and you're scratching your heads, and one idea leads to another. But that in itself is fun. And then once you've got a name, you can start thinking of a logo, which is another difficult but sweet thing at the same time. Okay, so your logo is a brain. It makes sense because it's to wealthy minds, you know, and the logo is very important. So now, in terms of growing and scaling your hobby and your passion and trying to turn it into something amazing, your work is out there, your portfolio is out there, you're becoming a brand, you've got a really good name. Now you need to find a logo to match. Freestyle, you can draw things, you can reach out to people, and imagine if you're creative yourself, you probably have a good idea, and now it's starting to build something. Now you're giving it a structure, and the most important thing is you're building a house now, and you need to build the house with loads of strong foundations, and you can decorate it later. Don't worry about decorating it first. There's no point having really fancy flyers and leaflets. Make sure your house is built strong, and then the beauty and the best bits is decorating it. So get a name, get a logo, and now if you start and realize you're getting loads of people reaching out to you on Instagram, you're getting loads of orders for canvases, loads of trainers to customize, loads of people reaching out to you to go to the school and give a talk, now you might start thinking, do I need a website? Any particular websites you would recommend that you found helpful with wealthy minds that people can use?
I think
that's simple enough.
It depends. So again, some people want to start up their own hobbies and passions on minimal income. You don't want to just throw £1 million into it. So some of the ones that I know it's quite easy for individuals just to literally make it yourself is Wix and WordPress. Wix and WordPress. They're two that are really good, and I'd recommend them. They're easy to build on. So
I definitely recommend it. Wix, WordPress. And the beauty of it is you don't need to be an expert. You will learn so many different skills. You will learn, okay, this works, and you can always get someone to help you, whatever, but it's that process. And you know, when you do things yourself, you know you're grinding for it. There's an extra beauty and joy in it. That's why I recommend it. So you built it on Wix, right?
So
remember?
Wix,
no help from no one, and you did it yourself.
I learned, so I've got no background in web development. I made it over a 2-month period. And when I clicked that publish button, you don't understand the happiness that I had. Because my website that I spent building on the color schemes, working on the pictures, the photos, the gradients, and all of that, when you hit the publish button, you just feel so good.
You feel euphoric, innit? Even the videography, like you spent time learning it, and once you created, because the first videography was your trailer for the Wealthy Minds.
Yeah, exactly, and then that led us on to the scrubbedin.
Exactly. So one thing leads to another. So you know, you make the thing about life is you will start one place and you will end up completely somewhere else. You may not have even fathomed. That's the beauty of it all. So take time, learn, and it's cool. It's quite cool learning new things because, you know, we get so used to with our day-to-day, our routine. We don't do anything different. Always stay out of your comfort zone. Always develop personally, spiritually, in every shape and form. So I'd say even Wix is a very good place to start. So we've got your portfolio. We've done a bunch of free work. People know you. We've got a good name. We've got a good logo. We've now kind of put into place a website. So now you're becoming a bit more professional. People can reach out to you. So now you're in a very good position to kind of scale and grow. And this website is another source of like an advert of the stuff you're doing. Before growing and developing your hobbies and stuff like that, what are things people need to be mindful of? Like any advice or tips? Like, you know, it's all well good in having a hobby, but what skill sets would you need to be aware of, or what do you need to kind of be like from even the stuff we've done on a small level?
In what do you mean? In which way?
So what would you need to kind of expect from doing a hobby, or like, you know, because I know not all of them are successful, or you may not, you know, become really, you know, get thousands and millions of views straight away. What are some of the things you may expect and that you need to be able to handle? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think the first thing you have to be able to handle is failure. You have to be able to handle failure. Because we've attempted different startups as well in the past, books and other institutions and companies, and they failed. But the thing is, they don't they're not failures. I know it's a cliche term, but you learn for the next one and for the next one and for the next one. You have to accept sometimes it's gonna fail. It's going to fail. And it's a slow growth. A lot of people do. I think you've even held me back a little bit and said, look, it will grow slowly. Give it time. So a lot of people do need to accept that things will grow slowly, and it's not everything looks like it's an overnight success. Usain Bolt, 9 seconds for 9 whatever seconds is his record, and that's his success. But it's the years of training that he's done, the months of training he's done before that, and the injuries and all of that's happened leading up to that championship run. So you have to expect failure. You have to have that grit to go through it, but most of all you have to love it. And then second, which is important, is so tying in with that, if you love something but it's becoming in a way that it's no longer something you enjoy anymore, it was never what you loved, and it will be never something
so
that
when
you
it
could
becomes
grow.
a chore all of a sudden,
It shouldn't become a chore. This podcast, for example, you're on intensive care, I was in A&E, but we're finding time. Why? Because you said this is like our baby. The whole thing is like our baby, and we love it. We love it. So yeah. And I think what would you add to that?
I would say, so that's good. And I forgot about the failure. It's also, at the end of the day, as long as you enjoy it, as long as you have a passion for it, you will always be winning, right? You can never truly fail in terms of kind of making that jump from, like, by yourself to a team, or expanding from 10 customers or 10 clients to 100. Maybe that in itself may be a failure, but I think it's important you're willing to take risks. I think sometimes people will be like, even on, like, today I saw on Instagram, like, can someone help me make this, or can someone help me make a website, right? And he seems to be someone quite established, and I thought, you know what, let me take a gamble, let me take a hit. And I reached out to him and I said, bro, do you know what do you need? Let me see if I can help you. And then we kind of came to agreement, we're going to hopefully try create something. It's the risk. So in that moment in time, it was a snapshot decision. You either missed the boat and that's it, right? He put it on and he's got a big platform. So we went and took that risk and, hopefully landed it. But it's be willing to take risks. Don't be shy. Don't be thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. Or, do you know what? Lots of other people probably beat me to it. Because you never know what your work is, might be exactly what they want.
Exactly.
And never compare yourself. Do you know what I mean? Never compare, like, okay, my work is not that good compared to his, or my work is different style, because everyone is different and everyone wants different things. So I may not be the best person to come and do talks at Amz's venture because I've never been that good at public speaking, whereas someone else might be, and they've been really good at it, but they're scared. So they might one day take a risk and reach out to Amz and say, do you know what, I'm a lawyer, I want to reach out, I want to go speak to kids at school. So be willing to take risks. And I would say educate yourself. And it's the same thing in that mental health.
Everything, man.
Educate yourself. There's loads of books, loads of podcasts on how to kind of grow or scale a project. Speak to people that have done it before. Speak to other founders or other people that are kind of the same way in medicine, right? You look at the doctors or the middle grade doctors and they're like, okay, if I continue doing what I'm doing, if I continue on this trajectory, I'm going to be like them. So speak to people that have kind of done it or kind of set up something you want to do and see what went well for them, what didn't go well, reach out to them. And like Am said, it's a very small world, so you can learn from their mistakes. And there's a quote I love, it's like, stand on the shoulders of giants. Why do you need to work? Why? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can see what worked, what didn't work, and then go on from there. So those are kind of a few key things I would say, kind of getting you started.
So that's how you turn your passion into a project or a side hustle or whatever you want to call it.
Professional, and to grow it into something amazing. So just to recap, to sum it all up before we head off, find something you love, something you really enjoy. The 3 E's, which were they?
They were energy, your environment, and your element.
All right. And once you know what that is, build a portfolio, build a brand. And the easiest way, like Am said, is reach out to people on social media. Instagram is easy. It's free. You can follow lots of people. You can, get out there, build your portfolio, showcase your work, show them how good you are, and show them how well you're improving. Once you've got that, once you've kind of, people are showing interest, start thinking of a name. What do you want to call it? You may have already thought of a name. Think of a good logo. And if you want to take that step further and you want to think, now I need to become a bit more official, I need a website, get someone to help you, or you can go into Wix. Amz did that, not having done a code
Zero.
of line in his life. Do you know what I mean? We're medics, we're
Exactly.
scientists. We did science at school. We don't know nothing.
Exactly.
And you can always learn. YouTube is an amazing resource. I remember you were saying you can literally learn anything on YouTube.
Anything and everything
Do you know
is
what I mean?
on YouTube. That's the best thing about it.
So use YouTube. Exploit YouTube for what it is. Don't spend time watching lots of cat videos. Learn it. Educate yourself. And let it go. And I'd say see where it takes you, because even an average idea has the potential to become something amazing. You'll meet lots of amazing people, and it's always lovely having your own project. So the main thing is just find something you enjoy, and it's yours, it's your project, it's your hobby. You can go into something amazing and take pride in that, and you'll learn loads as you go on the journey. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an overnight success, but the key thing is keep at it, keep persistent, keep consistent, and I'm sure you will see the fruits of your labor.
Wait, that was a bar. That was a solid bar. I think that's it. We're going to end on that. I'm not going to say anything else. That was a solid bar. Okay. Like, follow, comment, share, all of that thing. But we're finishing it here now.
See you guys next week.
See you next week.